thought about what beauty is? Beauty is biology, and the human desire for beauty is genetically programmed. Beauty is a social currency that rewards the lucky beholder. Beauty is not one size fits all. Hi, I'm Dr. Monica Bonakdar. I'm an aesthetic medicine specialist practicing in Newport Beach, California. I'm the creator of Monbon Clinical Skincare and Amplify Filler Technique. You are listening to Beauty Heroes Podcast, where I chat candidly with trailblazing beauty leaders, examining, questioning, and challenging everything you thought you knew about beauty and the current beauty standards. My goal is to make beauty more inclusive and accessible to all aesthetically oriented men and women. All right, let's do this. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're speaking with Carrie Strom, the Senior Vice President of Allergan U.S. Medical Aesthetics. Welcome, Carrie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell the audience first about who Allergan is and what's so exciting about this mega billion-dollar company?
Yes, thank you. Allergan is Allergan Aesthetics, and we are known for the iconic Botox Cosmetic. Botox Cosmetic is a product that helped to build the aesthetics market 17 years ago and continues to build it today. But Allergan Aesthetics is not just Botox Cosmetic. We also have a broad portfolio of products, including the Juvederm family of fillers, Kybella. We have Cool Sculpting for body contouring. We have Natrelle breast implants for breast augmentation. And we have the Skin Medica line, physician-dispensed skincare products. So Allergan Aesthetics has your aesthetics needs covered from your head to your toes.
Allergan Aesthetics is beauty.
Allergan Aesthetics is beauty. I consider myself an ambassador of aesthetics or a purveyor of confidence more than I do a senior vice president of the business.
Carrie, how did you get started in the aesthetic market?
I did not expect to end up in the aesthetics market. I started my career about 20 years ago working in pharmaceuticals. I worked at Pfizer for about 11 years on big brands you might have heard of, like Lipitor for high cholesterol. And then I moved to Allergan in 2011. And Allergan, of course, is the aesthetics company I'm at now. But when I moved to Allergan about 8 years ago, I moved there to work on Botox for therapeutic use. And it's a little known fact that even most of our sales for Botox comes from the therapeutic side, even more than the cosmetic side.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I fell in love with Botox on the therapeutic side. It's actually approved for 10 different therapeutic indications, including chronic migraine, overactive bladder, and most recently, pediatric upper limb spasticity, which means that children often who have cerebral palsy, as young as 2 years old, can get doses of Botox that are 10 times what the typical cosmetic dose is. So it really makes you feel good about the product that you're using, knowing all of its therapeutic experience. But that's how I started at Allergan, is on the Botox therapeutic side. I had the opportunity, as the company was growing and expanding, to take on new responsibility into aesthetics. And so now I have the dream job, which is heading up all of aesthetics at Allergan. But I say that I never knew I'd end up this way because I did have that traditional pharmaceutical background. That being said, I do love beauty and fashion. I'm not as big of an enthusiast as many, but I do love it in the way that I feel like beauty and fashion and aesthetics are such a key part of making people feel like the best version of themselves and really giving confidence and an edge. And that's what you do as a doctor and an expert, as you are helping your patients be the best version of themselves, right?
Yes. And the way I look at it is that the only constant in this market has been change. And I've seen a lot of changes in the last 20 years. And I speak about it at my conferences, how when we first started, we thought that we just had to use Botox to freeze faces. And then you taught us that it's not about freezing faces, but reshaping their face and relaxing those negative expressions. So there have been a lot of changes in this industry, and more we are realizing that it's not the more you do, the better it is. It is really what we do to the psyche of the individual. Tell me in your words, Carrie, what have you seen from 2002 to now?
Well, I agree with everything you said about the changes from freezing to relaxing and from being stigmatized to being something that's empowering. A great way of summarizing it for me is years ago, our advertising campaign said something like, everyone will notice, but no one will know. So we were really feeding into this stigma that you don't need to tell anybody that you're doing this. You'll still look great, but it will be your little secret. And that is such an antiquated way of approaching this market, because now people are empowered and excited to embrace any sort of technology that is going to improve themselves. And so now, instead of a campaign like everyone will notice and no one will know, the latest Juvederm campaign we have is called Juvederm It, meaning whatever you want to do to plump or contour or shape or fill your face, there's a Juvederm for that. And so now it's much more empowering, modernized, and it appeals to all different age ranges, which is, I think, is another big change, is that the target market years ago was more of an older woman, and we still love our older women targets and our women of all ages, but millennials have become increasingly an important patient population and consumer, and especially as they start to embrace fillers or Juvederm even before Botox. So years ago, everyone started with Botox Cosmetic, and then they would add on Juvederm or other products. But just recently, that trend has changed with millennials, as they are now starting with Juvederm as the first product in their aesthetic journey, and then adding on Botox Cosmetic from there. So there's been a lot of changes.
The younger patients, what are they wanting? Because they're not seeing aging yet, and yet they're doing stuff already. So what is their goal?
The younger patients are not interested in these products for quote unquote anti-aging or for correction. They're seeing these products as an accessory or a way to increase their beauty or augment the features that they already love. So great examples are younger patients in their 20s or 30s who are choosing Juvederm for lip enhancement, or they're choosing Juvederm Voluma for cheekbone enhancement. So instead of a correction or fixing something that has been taken away through age, our younger consumers are seeing these products as enhancements and ways to ramp up and beautify areas that they already are loving.
So instead of buying handbags, because I don't know if you know this, Carrie, but the sales of handbags is down in the U.S. In fact, designers are manufacturing less. Instead of buying handbags, women and men are becoming savvy and realizing that they can enhance themselves, not just what they carry around with them, but their face and body.
Oh, that is so interesting. And that insight does make sense, because it is all about doing something for yourself that gives you a boost and gives you confidence. And if that can be something in the medical aesthetic side, like Botox Cosmetic or Juvederm, where you have that boost 24/7, why not?
So let's talk about Botox. There are 4 total neurotoxins, and we like referring to them as neurotoxins because when you say Botox, it is specific to the product that you, Allergan, make. It does not mean it's the same as the other 3 neurotoxins. So I try and really educate my patients that they're not the same. And then Botox, compared to the other three available, has indications for 3 areas of the face versus the other ones that have 1 indication. So can you tell me or tell the audience what it's FDA approved for?
Yes, thank you for asking. So Botox Cosmetic is the neurotoxin that has been on the market the longest, about 17 years for cosmetic use. And as I said before, longer for its therapeutic uses. Botox therapeutic has been around for about 30 years. So a really long track record. 100 million vials of Botox have been sent out in the past 30 years.
100 million. Well, I've contributed to 400 vials a year to that 100 million. That is a huge number.
We love that. Thank you. Yes, and it's a number that just keeps getting bigger, partly because, as you said, we have more and more new indications. So Botox Cosmetic has been around the longest. It also has the most indications. We are indicated for 3 different areas of the face, including the glabellar lines or the frown lines in between your eyes, kind of when you furrow. Also the forehead lines. And the third indication is our crow's feet. And when you smile, those lines across next to your eyes. No other neurotoxin has those 3 indications. So we have the most indications today, and we are also pursuing more indications in our clinical trial plan to expand the use of Botox Cosmetic into the lower face, including the masseter, which will affect the jawline, and the platysma, which is the lines that go up and down your neck. So we have the most indications now, and then we're pursuing more indications in the future.
And what about excessive sweating? Does that fall in the aesthetic market as well?
Yes, Botox is used for hyperhidrosis, which is what you're alluding to with excessive sweating. It is not considered a cosmetic indication per se, as it is reimbursed sometimes. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It kind of depends on your specific situation. But yes, that is something that people love it for as well. The therapeutic indications, there are 10. That's one of them, the excessive sweating with hyperhidrosis. I mentioned migraine. There's overactive bladder, people who've had a stroke or a spinal cord injury or some sort of neurologic event. It can help with tightness in the muscles called spasticity. It helps with blepharospasm, which is when your eyelids are out of control. So there are 10 different indications in the U.S. alone that are outside of the cosmetic realm. It's very interesting. We call it a pipeline in a product.
I like that. All right. How many Juvederm products do you have in the Juvederm family of fillers in the U.S.?
Juvederm is our filler line, and we do have a Juvederm family of fillers. So when we have our Juvederm campaign that you see on TV or online, when we say Juvederm it, we mean go in and ask your doctor for the Juvederm that is right for you. And so we have a variety of different Juvederms. We have, for instance, Juvederm Voluma, which is something that is indicated for the cheeks. We have Juvederm Volbella, which is something often used in the lips. We have Juvederm Volure, which is used in the parenthesis lines or the nasolabial folds on the sides of your mouth. And then we also have Juvederm XC, which is our original Juvederm, which is indicated for multiple areas of the face, including the lips and those NLF lines. So for whatever need you have, there is a Juvederm for that, and your doctor will know what the right one is based on the look that you are trying to achieve.
So I love comparing the different fillers to food analogies. What I say about Voluma is the Jell-O that has extra gelatin and it becomes like hard gummy bear. And you push it, it pushes back, makes its form again. Whereas something like Volbella is your Jell-O before it goes into the fridge and it's very fluid. The other food analogy that I have is for how some fillers get kind of bigger once they're injected because they get hydrated or attached to water molecules. A good example of that is Juvederm Ultra and Ultra Plus, and it's comparing uncooked noodles to cooked noodles, how it absorbs the water and expands and gets bigger. It's confusing. Clients think that they have to come in and tell me which one to use, whereas I see it as it's my job to figure out which is the best product for that area. Do you ever get questioned about this? Is there confusion in the market, or how are you handling all these different products?
Well, I love your food analogy, and I think that is very effective to relate these products to something that people understand on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. But we agree. We agree that we want Juvederm to become a household name and synonymous with fillers, like Botox. When people ask for Botox, everyone knows what that means. We want people, instead of asking for fillers, we want people coming in to doctors' offices and asking for Juvederm. Now, once they get to the office, doctors like you will decide which Juvederm is right for them. If they're looking for a dramatic lip augmentation, then perhaps they want that Juvederm Ultra XC. If they're looking for a more natural outcome in their lips, a softer, more subtle look, perhaps you'll give them Juvederm Volbella. And so we agree that depending on the outcome, women or men and all these consumers can have as natural or as augmented as a look that they want. It's up to them and it's all personal. And you have the tools in your toolbox with all these different Juvederm types of fillers for you to choose and use based on what your client's asking for.
So are there more than what we have in the U.S. presently?
Yes, we have just scratched the surface in the U.S. of what the Juvederm line has.
Scratched the surface? Oh my goodness. That's exciting. Do tell.
I will. I'm very excited about the pipeline for Juvederm and bringing new uses for our current products that we know and love, and then also bringing new products from Europe into the United States. And so we know that in healthcare and medicine and aesthetics, often there are products that are available outside of the United States that are not here yet. And so Allergan is doing the investment and the clinical trial work to bring them here. So what that means for us in the short term is that next year, we're hoping to have Voluma, which is a product we know and love, indicated for a new utilization, which would be the chin. So right now, Voluma is not indicated, nothing is indicated for the chin in the United States, but we would be able to train on the safe and effective way of injecting the chin with Voluma, which has become a very popular area. And then the year after that, we'll have a new indication for Volbella in the tear trough, which of course is also a popular area of unmet need underneath the eyes. And then in 2022, we're really excited about bringing new products from Europe here, including Volite and Volux. Volite is a product that will be indicated for what we're calling skin quality. So not so much lines or an area of your face, as much as your entire skin to create a glowing, healthy effect to your skin. And then Volux, which will be a new filler, again, that will be indicated for the jawline. And I do think the jawline is a really hot area right now for that nice, sharp contour in the jaw.
I want Volite and Volux this year, not in 2022. This is very exciting.
Well, let's go to Europe and we can experience them on our own.
Monte Carlo, here we come. That's where the next aesthetic show is.
Right.
So it turns out that Allergan has done the studies and there's about 7% penetration of these products in the aesthetically oriented market of 65 million people. I'm assuming you started with 0. And so, yes, we've come far, but do you think that this is going to just kind of mosey on up, or do we expect this to really accelerate and take off? What do you see in the market, Carrie?
You're right that currently the penetration of people who are interested, or we say ready, willing, and able for injectables is only 6% penetrated. We do believe that in the next few years that will significantly increase. And we look at it by different consumer populations. So we believe that millennials will nearly triple from 6% to 16%. We believe that Gen X will nearly double from 7% penetration to 13% penetration, and that we believe that baby boomers will continue to improve as well from a penetration rate of 8% today to 10% in the future. So we do see that penetration rate increasing across all different patient populations. We believe that if somebody wants to try an injectable, they should. And we want to understand what is the reason why 94% of people who want to are not. And time again, the reason comes back that they're worried or afraid of having an unnatural outcome. And so that is a big challenge that we try to overcome at Allergan. And I know you're overcoming that challenge every day in your practice as well, is how do you make sure that people feel good, that when they're treated, they're going to look like their best version of themselves versus looking like somebody else. And that's why it's so important that we educate and we drive them into expert injectors such as yourself so that they can have that beautiful outcome. And then they can show their friends and family, that beautiful, safe, effective, natural outcomes are what you're going to get when you get treated the right product by the right expert.
So is this just a worry that is organic because people have to worry about something, or is it because they have seen work that they don't necessarily care for?
I think that you're right, that the worry, the fear is stemmed from, decades of celebrities that are showing an outcome that they might not want. But what's interesting is they're not seeing the beautiful outcome that's all around them. They're only seeing the outlier that is representing an outcome that they don't want. They're not seeing all of the celebrities, all of their friends and family who are being treated with something like Botox Cosmetic, and they don't even know that they are because it is such a natural and beautiful outcome. So that's our job, is to make sure that we are showcasing the beautiful and natural outcomes, and that we are also dispelling any concerns they have. Along the way, we need to do very rigorous and intensive training of our injectors so that they have the tools that they need to deliver those beautiful outcomes.
Yes. And for different levels of injectors, you have the beginning injectors that have a different need. And I'm part of the Allergan Medical Institute faculty catering to the beginning and the intermediate injector, and people like myself who have tons of experience. You recently had an injector from Europe who spent the day with some of us and shared with us what they're doing in Europe, which I found fascinating and just really worth the time that I spent with the doctor. So yeah, education is quite important. My heart breaks when people decide on these products based on price, because I think they're missing the big picture. Can you talk about that, Carrie? And what people should be considering when they want to do these products?
When a worry or a fear of an unnatural outcome is the top concern or barrier to reaching the full potential of this market, it's important that consumers know where they can go to get a natural outcome. And somewhere like your practice, where you're an Allergan Medical Institute trainer, you have decades of experience, you have so much hands-on use of all of our products, that the value of the product being used in hands like yours is so important, because of course price is a part of every decision we make every single day. Everything from the coffee we buy to the hotels that we book, price is always a factor. But with this, there is no price tag that somebody would want to pay for a bad, unnatural outcome, right? And
I agree.
So I really advise people to do their homework and to go to an injector that has a lot of experience with the product, that has before and after pictures that are meeting your needs, depending on what the aesthetic outcome you're looking for is. And that price, of course, is a factor, but think about what you're paying for and think about the long-term outcomes that you want and what those are worth to you as you're living with them every day of your life.
I like that. All right, let's shift gears and talk about social media. A lot of sensationalism going on, but at the same time, some of my colleagues have beautiful pages where they are really informing the consumer, and it's become an educational platform. Are you for or against social media, and has it helped Allergan or hurt Allergan?
I'm for social media. Social media has helped the aesthetics business as it raises awareness for new products and new procedures. I am for social media when it's done in a way that's responsible and is educating. I think when you're looking to choose a provider or an injector based on social media, it's important to understand, is this person posting on things that they've had their own experience with, or are they posting on something that another provider's had experience with? How many patients do they treat? How many years have they been doing it? Again, make sure you're drilling down past what you're seeing on social. Social is great because it gives you a flavor for what the practice is like, but really drill into what their clinical expertise is, their years of experience, their training, et cetera. So I think it's great because it enables more awareness of something as long as it's done responsibly in a way where people can seek out the information they need. Then it's a great way to drive awareness.
And Allergan has its own social media Instagram sites that are not just Allergan specific. Can you talk about that?
Allergan Aesthetics has a Instagram presence where we talk about a variety of things we do from a business standpoint, our portfolio, our employee, and our customer engagement. We also have branded handles for Botox Cosmetic, Juvederm, Cool Sculpting, Skin Medica, Natrel, and those are great places to go to, see any news on the products, our latest campaigns, and also features any promotions that we have ongoing.
Yes. And speaking of promotions, you just ran a very enticing promotion on TV where the consumer, regardless of if they've had Botox done before or not, could text a number and get an instant coupon, would you call it, that they could add on to their Brilliant Distinction points and get a significant discount. That's really nice to be able to take advantage of those promotions.
So we have our Brilliant Distinctions consumer loyalty program, which is 6 million members strong.
Wow.
This is a great program for those of you who are getting medical aesthetics treatments, Botox, Juvederm, et cetera. You can earn points every treatment and then redeem them towards your next one. This is an offer that is part of that program that we did. You're exactly right. We piggybacked on a TV campaign we were running. The last few seconds of the TV ad encouraged people to text a certain number. Once they texted that number, they were texted a link to register for Brilliant Distinctions, or if they're already members, to log in, and a $50 coupon would appear in their piggy bank. And so we're really excited about this, leveraging TV to get really broad reach on this, and then drilling it down so that there is real action that the consumer can take. They have those $50 now, and we want them to come into your office to redeem it for Botox, either for the first time, or maybe they're getting it done in preparation for the holidays. Maybe that $50 can help them get another treatment area instead of just their forehead. Perhaps they'll get their forehead, glabellar, and crow's feet done. So yeah, this has been wildly successful. In 1 week, we had 50,000 registrations for this $50 coupon.
I hope they all said, come to Dr. B's practice. I actually love doing Botox injections. And it's not so much the actual injection, but the art of delivering an amazing experience for the patient, having it be over before they, got finished telling you about their life story since 3 months ago when you haven't seen them, and not hurting them, not bruising them. So I love doing injectable treatments. I'm just all over it. So the more you do to drive them into all of our practices, okay, I won't be greedy. I'll share with my colleagues. The more you do, the more we're appreciative.
Well, when you win, we win.
So, Carrie, I heard that Allergan is working on some new consumer ventures. Can you talk about that?
Yes, Allergan is working on some new consumer ventures that are meant to address those concerns we talked about. People who are worried about an unnatural outcome, they need more education on products like Botox and Juvederm, and they need to know where and how they should go to different practices to get those beautiful outcomes. And so there are two new projects that we have been working on. One is called thespotlight.com, SPOTLYTE. And thespotlight.com is a non-branded website that is curated based on beauty editors and bloggers to create a beautiful aesthetic experience and a place that consumers can go online to get their questions answered about medical aesthetics treatments. I say it's unbranded, meaning we don't talk about Botox or Juvederm. We talk about the categories. We talk about fillers. We talk about addressing your wrinkles. We talk about skin quality. And so you're not being hammered with advertising. You're being educated in a very highly educated way about what these products do and answer any questions. There is a chat function so that you can instant chat with the people who work there and they can answer any questions you have about the products. And we've had about 1 million hits a month to this website. So it's really meeting people's needs. And then the other one that we have is called Reggie, short for regimen. It's available in 3 markets right now. So we're just ramping it up in New York, LA, and Dallas. And Reggie is meant to overcome the barrier of getting into a doctor's office. So Reggie is a concierge service. And if you go to reggie.com, you can chat online with a concierge there. And if I said I wanted to go get a Botox treatment with Dr. B on Friday, the Reggie concierge would make that happen for me. And so in this day and age where nobody wants to be on the phone scheduling appointments, Reggie can do that for you. So yes, Spotlight and Reggie are 2 exciting new functions that we have. If you want to try Reggie, that is the website, tryreggie, TRYREGI.com.
Oh my gosh, the website is so pretty. This is like your Botox butler. And we got you into practices in, so far, New York, LA, and Dallas.
Yes, I like that. Botox butler. I'm going to borrow that.
You are? Okay. Well, it has been a pleasure, Carrie, talking with you and discussing these products that Allergan has curated for the aesthetically oriented people. I will never get tired of talking about beauty. And it sounds like you have also drank the Kool-Aid and are in the same boat. So thank you so much for joining me and the Beauty Hero podcast.
Thank you, Dr. B, and thank you for being such a trusted expert. And you do deliver natural results, which is so important for your patients and for the market. And you are the ultimate beauty hero.
Aw, thank you. Nice talking with you.